In order to work with the R programming language, you need the R software installed in your computer. In addition to R, we are also going to use the RStudio IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, which makes the experience of working with the R programming software very easy and convenient for programming purposes. Let's see how to install both of these softwares. But before installing RStudio, you need to install the R software first, because RStudio usage depends basically on R software. Though you install RStudio, it will use the R programming software in the backend to do all the processing. So first, let's install R. To install R, go to the CRAN repositories. CRAN stands for Comprehensive R Archive Network. This is the place where you will get the official software and packages related to R. If you go to this particular page, you will see this sort of a layout where you have three buttons. Download R for Linux, Mac OS and Windows. Since this is a Windows PC, I'm going to use the Windows option. If you are on a different operating system, click on the respective one and follow the similar procedure. On clicking Windows, notice the URL does not change. It is just navigating within that particular website itself. Now, after clicking Windows, go to install R for the first time. The layout of this page has remained the same for many years. So it should be familiar as what you see in this page itself. Click on the latest one and download it. While it downloads, let me show you how to install RStudio. While the home page for R CRAN network remains the same, RStudio's home page and layout of the website changes over time. But nevertheless, the page to download the RStudio software has remained the same. Well, if you click on download, if you don't find the download button over here, let me go back. You will certainly find the download button somewhere in the page. Typically at the footer of the page in the bottom, RStudio Desktop, software that you want to download, which is RStudio Desktop, and that will take you to the download page. Now, after coming here, choose RStudio Desktop. I'm going to use the free version that is sufficient for our purposes. It has explicitly written that you need to install R first, then download RStudio Desktop. While R is installing, I am going to download RStudio for Windows. If you are using a different operating system, you can choose the appropriate version of RStudio for your operating system. So both the softwares have installed. Let me first install R 3.6.2 or whichever the version that you see on the page. Select next. I'm installing in this particular location. This should be safe. Next. Leave all of this as it is. I'm going to accept the defaults for this. If you choose yes, customize startup, you will be given an option to separate the R console and the R editor. I will show you what these looks like shortly. You will be given an option to separate these two windows in two separate windows. For now, I'm going to go with the default option, which is MDI, where you will have one single window that contains both the editor and the console. Installation is complete. Let's open it and see how it looks. So upon opening the R programming software, you will be greeted with this sort of a welcome message. This is the R console. Now go to File and New Script. This will open the R editor. This is where you will type your R programming codes, and from here you will be able to run that code in R console. That is the purpose of these two. If I had chosen the option to keep these two windows separate, then you will get two windows overall, that is outside of this particular RGUI. Try it out when you are installing that also. Maybe you will like that version. Now let's see how to install RStudio. We just downloaded it. The version that I am using is 1.2.5033. The installation has started. Click next. Check the destination. This should be fine. Click next. Then install. The installation has completed. Now let's open RStudio and see how it looks. So this is how the GUI of RStudio looks by default. You have the console over here. To open the editor, you can go to File and click on New File, RScript. That will bring up the editor over here. Now you have the editor, console, the environment, help, and so on. We will go over the various components of RStudio that you see on the screen in great detail in the coming video.